Welcome to DA Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, we return to Jordan to join Tzu Chi volunteers as they show Syrian refugees and others in need the love and care they deserve. Also, we see the harmful and tedious work scientists at the Fire Experiment Center go through to keep us safe from a fire. And we meet Xu Zheyuan, who is a talented award-winning swimmer despite his disability. As long as the unrest in Syria is not solved, the number of refugees will continue to rise. In caring for those who fled their country, Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers extended support in this difficult time. Besides the usual relief supplies, emergency cash is also given at times. The volunteers' monthly visit to the hospital are yielding great results, as patients there are slowly letting down their guard and starting to confide in volunteers.
Nader Hariri.
These are the family members of the late Rafiq al-Hariri, former prime minister of Lebanon. Caught up in the war of Syria, many were massacred. Many were forced to flee to Jordan.
165 people were killed. 165 people.
Hariri is unable to let go of this number. Waving his arms that were cut off by government soldiers, he says this war has fueled his hatred and desire for revenge.
You know what the situation now and what we can have. Now, of course, we don't involve politics, but we will provide them. And how about their clothes?
Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers listen intently to the refugees and try to provide some assistance. A Tzu Chi song of love and care temporarily appeases their restless heart. In Ramtha, a local volunteer's house has become an information and aid distribution center for refugees. This time, emergency cash was also given. Bowing and showing respect, the refugees are not used to such mannerisms, especially those who were once well off in their own country.
5 people escaped. I had many houses in Syria.
The Angels in Blue and White also hold relief distributions in the desert area of Amman. 10 households come forth to receive supplies, while volunteers personally deliver assistance to one family in need, who had sought help for their sick child from Islamic organizations, but received no response. Never did the family imagine help would come from a Buddhist organization. Caring for Syrian refugees is becoming Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers' main charity work, and the volunteers' continuous love and care have broken down barriers at the hospitals they visit. Patients are no longer cold or refuse to talk. A sincere smile on the recipient's face is all the thanks the volunteers need. In Jiangsu Province, China, on June 18th, the Tzu Chi Kunshan Environmental Education Center was officially established. The some 1,652 square meter space is filled with environmental concepts and an area in which members of the public can get hands-on experience in practicing recycling.
With government officials and local Tzu Chi volunteers attending, the Tzu Chi Kunshan Environmental Education Center is officially established. Master Zheng Yin also sends her blessings via video conference. Inside the Environmental Education Center that covers some 1,652 square meters of space, everywhere is filled with environmental concepts. At the display area, volunteers showcase eco-friendly soaps made from used cooking oils. Many government officials were amazed by the volunteers' creativity.
This beautiful bag was made from recycled fabrics.
Participants also get some hands-on experience at the recycling area. Since 2001, Kunshan Tzu Chi volunteers have been promoting recycling in local communities. The volunteers' good work has won recognition from the local Environmental Protection Bureau.
Thanks to the Kunshan Tzu Chi volunteers, many people are practicing recycling in their communities, corporations, and schools.
With the establishment of the Tzu Chi Kunshan Environmental Education Center, volunteers promise to spread Tzu Chi's environmental protection mission further into local communities.
In the Philippines, local Tzu Chi volunteers recently invited 219 care recipients to the local Tzu Chi chapter to celebrate Father's Day, which is celebrated on June 6th in the country. During the event, volunteers not only distributed aid supplies to care recipients, but also seized the chance to educate the children's understanding and appreciation for their father's hard work.
At a Father's Day celebration held at the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter, children are giving their fathers a hand massage. Seeing his son putting lotion on his hands, Greengrocer Alberto de Sos Santos says he is truly moved.
I feel great when my son applied the lotion on my hands. I can really feel his love for me.
Ricardo Penicilla, who underwent a heart operation with Tzu Chi's help, says the event has improved his relationship with his son.
I can feel that he loves me. When I grow old, my son will definitely take care of me.
I love my father and I thank him for taking care of me.
To show their love for their children, when volunteers offer sticky rice cakes to the fathers, without any hesitation, all the fathers pass the treats to their children first. At the same time, volunteers not only offer free haircut services, but also aid supplies, as they hope to make this occasion a memorable one for all the care recipient families.
To give children of underprivileged families a chance to change their lives for the better, the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter established a livelihood training program. Through the 4-month course, trainees develop skills that will eventually help them find jobs. Recently, 40 students graduated from the course and said, thanks to the program, their futures are now full of opportunities.
I promised myself to be so strong.
Today, 40 students from the livelihood training program held by the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter officially graduate from the 4-month course.
I hope that I can find a job soon because my mother is getting older. I also hope to help my siblings continue their schooling.
On stage, students showcase the skills they have learned in the program. Some students are now qualified as dental assistants, while others learn to sew. Thanks to the program, these youngsters have developed skills that will change their lives for the better.
She is very sad because there were so many obstacles.
Receiving their certificates from the Tzu Chi volunteers, from this moment on, these youngsters can start their lives anew. Volunteers also remind them to thank their parents for all their support.
This program is a great help to our family because I am a single mother. Now that my child has the skill to work, we can help each other.
For the first couple of weeks, I felt the classes were boring, so I wanted to quit the program. However, I know that stopping halfway is more difficult and tiring than working towards reaching the final goal.
Now, with a clear goal in mind, these young adults are ready to start a new chapter in their lives.
For 13 years running, Tima and Tzu Chi volunteers from Malaysia's Kedah have been holding free clinics in the village of Balu, which suffers from a lack of medical resources due to its remote location. In the years that Tzu Chi has been serving the village, volunteers have noticed positive changes in the residents, including a stronger emphasis on recycling and volunteering. At their most recent clinic, volunteers not only continue with their ongoing medical care, but also took time to educate the villagers on simple yet important medical topics.
Armed with toothbrushes and toothpaste, these youngsters follow along as volunteers show them how much fun brushing can be. This is but one of the activities that volunteers held during their most recent visit to Balu village. In addition to offering checkups for the villagers, volunteers also prepare posters to show the villagers simple ways to protect their health. During the clinic, the message of filial piety was also spread.
I am very happy because I have this chance to hug my parents. My mother and father are the people that I love the most. I am so happy to have been able to attend this event.
I am ecstatic. It was the first time that my son ever served me tea. A big thanks to Tzu Chi for organizing this event.
Care recipient Iwi was left bedridden following an accident. But under the volunteer's care, he soon recovered and has now joined Tzu Chi as a volunteer to give back.
I've received Tzu Chi's help for over 2 years now. In order to reciprocate their kindness, I fixed my motorcycle so that I can help collect recyclables on Tzu Chi's behalf. Every time I volunteer, I'm filled with a sense of peace and happiness.
Tzu Chi's free clinics not only bring care and love into remote areas such as Bolu village, but also introduce a more sustainable and humanitarian lifestyle in these residents.
Last year, fire accidents in Taiwan have decreased significantly. This is all thanks to a group of scientists who have dedicated themselves to improving on fire safety measures and making sure the materials that go into our buildings meet fire-resistant standards. These scientists endure high heat, harmful vapors, tedious preparation and cleanup, and the solitary life of a scientist just to save lives. Here are the engineers of the Architecture and Building Research Institute's Fire Experiment Center under the Ministry of Interior.
At the Ministry of Interior's Fire Experiment Center in Tainan's Guiren, a test on a firewall is about to begin.
The experiment that we are conducting now is the 60-minute fire resistance test. The test specifies that the 7 sensors placed over here on the outside, which monitor the temperature readings, not one can exceed 210 degrees Celsius, or the average reading of the 7 sensors cannot exceed 170 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, the wall will be disqualified.
The center does not resemble a stereotypical laboratory. Instead, it looks more like a construction yard and a fire training facility. Arriving at the site, one immediately notices the foul residual odor left by the burned items. Intense heat is also part of the job hazard, not to mention the stench from the burning things will follow you home.
It doesn't matter if I go home smelling bad, I will just hit the shower. During an experiment, as objects are set on fire, unpleasant vapors and heat are bound to be released, which will affect our health.
When we are done conducting a large-scale fire simulation, ashes will be everywhere. It is difficult to keep the surrounding area clean. Due to the intensity of the heat, some poisonous gases will be released. And these fire retardant foams, even if you don't come into contact with them much, you will still itch all over.
Though countless chemicals are released into the air in a test, these engineers strap on a face mask and remain on site.
Because anything can happen during a test, so for the entire duration of the test, we will have to be right here to monitor the situation.
Sadly, in this hour-long test, the temperature shot up as the fire managed to breach the firewall. This is exactly why the engineers are here on site.
After discussing with the petitioner, we decided to halt the experiment because the safety of our equipment and personnel would be compromised.
Each of the 4 members of the lab has over 11 years of experience. Shown in the way the blaze was quickly contained and extinguished. They run a test at least once a week and never take their jobs lightly.
Once the submitted building material was so bad that it failed catastrophically within some 10 minutes of the 60-minute test. It didn't meet our standards at all, so we are keeping an eye out for the public.
According to statistics, over 1,000 fires happen annually. This means there might be 3 or 4 blazes in a day, so it is quite probable for people to be caught in a fire. Thus, we must invest in corresponding safety measures. As we can see, compared to the 80s and 90s, where there were over 10,000 blazes annually to the number now, I think it's safe to say that the investment in this research is making a big difference.
Enduring the high heat, the harmful vapors, the tedious preparation and cleanup, and the solitary life of a scientist, the engineers work to save lives.
This is quite a meaningful job. What we discover here can really be applied to our daily lives, such as new information of fire safety, or new materials that can help keep us safe. I think what we do is closely tied to saving lives.
Thanks to the Architecture and Building Research Institute's Fire Experiment Center, people might gain a second or even a minute when caught in a blaze, and that extra time could be the difference between life and death.
Liyu Elementary School is situated in a remote village in Nantou County, Taiwan. This year, 7 students will be graduating from the school, and they have all been gifted with a new bicycle from the school's former employee, Grandpa Huang. Although not materially affluent, for the past 9 years, the senior has gifted some 50 bicycles to the school's graduates, so that those who study further away from home may have their own transportation to get to school.
On the eve of their graduation, the 7 students of Liyu Elementary School have been gifted with a bicycle each. Eagerly trying out his new bike, since this boy's father passed away from cancer and his mother plucks tea leaves for a living, receiving a bike is truly a dream come true for him.
I'm graduating. I live far from the high school I will be attending. Luckily, I have the bike that Grandpa Huang gave me.
Having been raised by her great-grandmother, this girl finally has a bicycle tailored just for her.
We only have one bicycle at home, but it's a children's bicycle, and I can't ride it anymore. Luckily, Grandpa Huang gave me a brand new bike.
Most of our students come from single-parent or grandparented families. Grandpa Huang has a big heart. He has taken into account that to get to their high school, transport might be a big issue for these children.
At the graduation ceremony rehearsal, the 7 graduates prepare thank you cards for Grandpa Huang.
The bicycle Grandpa Huang gave us had motivated me to study harder. I want to become a person who can help others.
Using his pension to purchase more than 50 bicycles, Grandpa Huang's dream of helping others will be paid forward by these students in the days ahead.
"16-year-old Xu Zheyuan of Taichung, Taiwan, was diagnosed with Down syndrome when he was just 1.5 years old. Despite his illness, his parents never gave up on him and have supported his passion for swimming. At the 2012 World Down Syndrome Swimming Championships, Xu was awarded 2 silver and 2 bronze medals. Not only is he a talented swimmer, but a shining star of Taiwan as well.
Under his coach's high expectations, from breaststroke to freestyle and to even the difficult butterfly stroke, Xu Zheyuan excels at them all.
It's fun. I love swimming.
With Xu's remarkable skills, it's difficult to imagine that he suffers from Down syndrome. Those who suffer from the disorder have poor muscle coordination. However, Xu's coach soon noticed his potential.
I notice he's very good at imitating. I only need to show him once, and he will find a way to learn it.
What started out as just a hobby ultimately landed Xu on the international sports stage. Having won himself 2 silver and 2 bronze medals at the 2012 World Down Syndrome Swimming Championships in Italy, his mother couldn't be any more proud of his son.
He is Taiwan's glory. All the other athletes, including the chairman, were all so excited and cheering him on.
Although her son was diagnosed with Down syndrome, Xu's mother has always treated her son like an ordinary child, with no preferential treatment.
He has an older brother and sister above him, so I treated everyone in the same way. There are no favorites.
Never giving into adversity and pursuing dreams with passion, Xu Zheyuan sets the perfect example for all to follow.
To better care for police officers, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taipei, Taiwan have been paying regular visits to local police stations. There, volunteers not only help these public servants monitor their health, but also provide them with much-needed emotional support.
The practice in the sutra of profound gratitude to parents, the deputy captain of the Deyin police station in New Taipei City's Wuhu district comes to regret the unintentional words spoken to his mother in the past.
When I heard my mother was having a stroke, I rushed back home. Seeing my mother lying on the bed, I felt wretched. I told her that she would be a burden for me. I regret having said that, because she devoted her time and energy to look after us children. She gave her youth to us so that we could enjoy our achievements today.
Following the volunteers' gestures as they learn the sutra of profound gratitude to parents, these police officers are given a chance to calm their minds among their busy schedules. In Taipei City's Wanhua district, every month Tzu Chi volunteers go to their local police station to help these public servants take their blood pressure.
Every month, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters come to help us take our blood pressure and care for us. Our hearts are truly full of warmth.
Being a police officer, I feel that I'm always busy each day. Both high-ranking officers and frontline police officers have to deal with enormous physical and psychological challenges. We're grateful to the Tzu Chi volunteers. You guys devote your lifetime to volunteer work. Your dedication is the greatest support to us.
Dealing with troubles is inevitably part of police officers' duties. So volunteers hand out Jin's aphorisms to give them peace and blessings.
When I'm in low spirits or get upset, I read the Jin's aphorisms. They give me strength to move on.
With a boost from these words of wisdom, these police officers are once again ready to serve the public.
To commemorate Police Day in Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers prepare vegetarian meals for officers in Pingdong's Ligang precinct. The vegetarian event has been ongoing for 7 consecutive years, and many police officers have come to cherish the opportunity to celebrate this event with the Buddhist NGO.
Hands held together in prayer, these police officers are annual participants at Tzu Chi's vegetarian event, with this year's event marking the 7th in Pingdong's Ligang precinct.
In the beginning, we worried that these police officers might refuse to eat vegetarian food. However, over the past 7 years, we have received mostly positive feedback. Some of them even asked for more than 1 lunchbox.
From frontline police officers to the chief of the precinct, everyone has done their utmost to support the event over the past 7 years.
We also encourage our colleagues to eat vegetarian, to be aware of their diets, and to enhance their mental and physical health.
Thanks to the vegetarian event, Captain Fu Yuzhu had a chance to learn about Tzu Chi and has now joined Tzu Chi's training programs and is gradually changing himself for the better.
Tzu Chi's events give me different inspirations. When I carry out my duties, I keep telling myself to change my state of mind and not being so hot-tempered. So I try to talk to members of the public in a kind and gentle way.
Sharing the benefits of vegetarian dishes, Tzu Chi volunteers not only feed these public servants' stomachs, but also warm their hearts.
At the end of the show, we return to Malaysia, where a middle school in Malacca celebrated its centenarial anniversary. As large gatherings also resulted in an equally large amount of trash left over, the school established sorting bins on each floor. As well, Tzu Chi was on site to set up a recycling point. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Da'a Headlines. See you tomorrow.